Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Big Ten Talk. We've done a few of them this week, previewing bowl games featuring Big Ten teams. This morning, I am joined here with Alex from the Max Sports Connection podcast to preview the GameAbove Sports Bowl featuring Northwestern and Central Michigan. How are you doing today, Alex?
Doing great, Emily. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk some Maction on my side and talk this great bowl game.
I know. Super excited. I had mentioned this in yesterday's episode. One of the great things about bowl season and the postseason in general is I get to talk to fans and people who do podcasts and people who kind of cover these teams outside of the Big Ten. And it just makes for a really interesting conversation. And I know that you and I have been connected for a while now. So it's really exciting that we finally get to talk about both sides of Big Ten and MAC, like you mentioned, and we kind of get to talk about this bowl game. So, real quickly, can you tell people a little bit about what you do on the podcast and whatnot, and just in kind of in terms with your conference?
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me. Like I said, an honor to be here with you. We've been connected for a few years now through the wonderful wide world of the internet. So
So
I'm
true.
excited to be here. But no, I do the Max Sports Connection. My co-host Graham and I are both graduates of the University of Toledo. I'm currently doing my master's at Ohio University, so I'm very entrenched in the Mid-American Conference. We've done over 100 events with coverage. Anything from football to basketball to field hockey to lacrosse. I've even done volleyball, things like that. So we really try to give everybody the full spectrum of sports in the Mid-American Conference, not just football, but truly everything, because I think that all the sports matter. All the
Yeah.
athletes matter. So we really try to cover all of that. And we've been doing this now for a little over 5 years, almost 6 years now, which is hard to believe that people continue to want to listen to us talk about those cold nights in November. But it's been a joy and an honor, and I love doing it. So,
That's awesome. You guys do such a great job, such great content, especially for the last 5 years. Like it's been solid and consistent. So I highly recommend people checking you out if they want to keep up with this, if they just want more, college sports in their realm and in their world. I highly recommend it. So, what are your thoughts about the Game Above Sports Bowl? And you'll have to excuse me. I have been getting over a cold. And so my voice was like gone on Monday when I did the show, and I got a little bit better yesterday. And then I woke up this morning and I'm like, "Ooh, it's back. It's not sounding super good." So you'll have to excuse me, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this particular matchup and in this bowl game.
yeah, no, it's this is an exciting bowl game. I mean, this bowl game's been through a lot of name changes.
I
Was a Little
know.
Caesars Pizza Bowl that I attended as a kid. Funny enough, I watched Central Michigan play Middle Tennessee State in this game
Oh,
years and
that's
years
funny.
and years ago. I was in high school, and what's crazy about that is Central Michigan looked really good in that game. I think they have an opportunity to look really good in this game, especially on the defensive side. Central Michigan has one of the best defenses in the Mid American Conference, and that's all in part due to new head coach Matt Drinkle. Coach Drinkle turned around a program that was 4-8 a year ago, the Jim McElwain era, the tumultuous Jim McElwain era, finally ending at Central Michigan. And Matt Drinkle has just breathed new life into this program. They were a win away, really, from playing in the MAC championship just a couple weeks ago. Um, One of the things that I think for Central Michigan, though, is it's not going to be the offense that gives them an opportunity in this game. It's going to be the defense. They are the fourth best defense in the Mid American Conference in terms of scoring. And that's just behind programs like Toledo and Western, who were both in the top 30 in the country in scoring defense. And then Miami, of course, who was just in the MAC championship. So this is going to be a defensive effort from Central Michigan to give them any sort of real shot in this game. And Northwestern, they're not scoring a lot of points. So I think that this could be a recipe for a MAC over Big Ten victory.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree. One of my biggest question marks going into this game, or kind of just taking a look at this game, was how many mistakes are Northwestern going to make that Central Michigan can capitalize on? And I definitely think that could give Central Michigan the edge, especially since I think they've had a turnover or recovery in every game this season. I could be wrong, it could just be
Yes.
like most of them, but So Central Michigan is absolutely capitalizing on those mistakes that other teams make. And so kind of like what you were saying, I feel like the defense can absolutely show up and kind of give Northwestern a run for their money. And if they can force those mistakes, it could easily be Central Michigan's game. But kind of taking a look at the other side, what should worry Central Michigan in this game from a Northwestern perspective?
I'm gonna say the Northwestern defense. For me,
Yeah.
it's the Central Michigan offense, and I love Joe Labus. I love what this offense has done. They're not where they want to be yet. This offense, and I have the number here. They're just 1-5 when they score less than 24 points this year. Their two power conference opponents uh, beat them a combined 100 to 20 or 108 to 20 this year, and that was Pitt and
Right.
Michigan. Their worst offensive games really on the entire year. They did drop a weird game to Akron earlier this year, 28 to 22. But yeah, 1-5 in games where they don't score more than 24 points. And I think that is a huge cause for concern. They're very average on offense, about 165, 170 yards passing, 165, 170 yards rushing per contest. Um, the offensive line is of concern. They've given up 19 sacks this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be kind of a recipe for success for Northwestern is if you can get into the Central Michigan backfield, you've got a really good shot at getting to Joe Labus.
Yeah, totally. I absolutely hear you. I do think despite that though, it's a very interesting matchup. I think this is going to be a really good game. Or I'm just telling myself that because historically this bowl game has provided really interesting and fun matchups and really good games. So basically a lot of pressure on them to kind of like make it an entertaining one for all of us watching it.
Yeah, no,
um
it's really funny because last year's game I think was probably the best game we've seen in
yeah,
the game above Little Caesars,
right.
whatever. Six overtimes, Toledo versus Pitt. Very happy
Yes.
to report that it was my Rockets that came out on top. But
Yep.
that was such a fun game, and all of America it felt like was tuned in to that overtime period when it looked like Pitt had the thing won, and then they went to overtime, and then they went into another. Like the game just felt like it was going on and on forever. So that was a great
Yeah.
time.
Definitely a great time. So hopefully this matchup matches that exact same energy because despite all the name changes, it has historically been a really entertaining bowl game. So for Big Ten fans, or perhaps any other fans outside of your conference who may not have paid much attention to Central Michigan this season, are there some key players we should kind of focus on or kind of keep our eye on?
Defensively, you're gonna want to be aware of linebacker Jordan Kwiatkowski. Uh, 109 total tackles this year, 3 sacks, 12.5 tackles for loss, and 3 interceptions from the linebacking spot. And he's helped out by Dakota Cochran, who, to his own credit, has 77 tackles, 5.5 tackles per loss. Caleb Spahn is in the backfield for this defense, and he leads the team in passes broken up. As well as 48 total tackles. And then on the defensive line is G5 Heroes All American Michael Heldman, 10.5 sacks, 16 total tackles for loss, and he's fourth on the team in tackles with 47. Those are going to be the defensive guys you need to be aware of. Offensively, again, Joe Labus has done a great job. He's limited his damage to just 6 interceptions, but he does only have 12 touchdowns. Um, he does have 1,600, almost 1,700 passing yards on the year. Uh, but then it's going to be Angel Flores, the dual threat quarterback, that I think is going to do a little bit more damage. He's played in 8 games this year. He has a bunch of rushing touchdowns and a couple passing touchdowns as well. That's going to be kind of the key for the Central Michigan offense, and he's going to be a player you focus in on. Central has 4 guys over 400 rushing yards this year. So they love to give the ball to a lot of different guys, give a lot of different looks, and then their receiving core. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Langston Lewis and Tommy McIntosh. Their numbers don't jump off the page. They both just have 3 receiving touchdowns, but this is a receiving core that had 20 plus guys have a catch
Mhm.
this year. So this is a very very Matt Drinkle. Let's spread the ball out. Let's get the ball to different people. So you can't key in on any one particular person because everybody has an opportunity to make a little bit of noise for this offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Really well said, incredibly informative. Who's brings up a really good point. Alex knows more about his whole conference than I know about my own team. You are very, very well knowledgeable on your conference, and we love it. Um, so do you have like a score prediction in this game? And if you don't have a score prediction, kind of just a prediction on how you think this game's going to go and who's going to walk away with the win?
I think this is going to be kind of one of those grinded out games. Both offenses are going to really struggle in the first half, just kind of feeling things out. I see Northwestern going up late in the game, and just kind of chipping away at the defense. Central Michigan's done a great job controlling the ball on the offensive side this year. They've been in plus time of possession over their opponents. However, um, you got to give the defense a chance to rest a little bit more. And in a second half game against a Big Ten team who's got a little bit more depth against you in a rebuild year, I think I see Northwestern coming out on top, but I see this as a one score game.
Absolutely. God, I hope so. That would mean that was a pretty interesting and fun
Yeah.
and entertaining game. So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully no one wins in dominant fashion. I will say Northwestern has impressed me this season. They performed and played way better than I anticipated them doing so and before the season began. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates into bowl season for them and in this particular matchup. And then, kind of just like a general fun question, how are you feeling about the playoffs? Do you have a particular team you're watching, a particular team that you hope kind of makes it to the national championship? And do you have a national championship prediction?
Well, Emily, out of respect for you, I'm not going to say JMU. I'm gonna, but I would certainly love to see. And this is my G5 bias, of course. I would love to see a Tulane JMU championship. It's not going
Yeah,
to happen, but I certainly would love to see Tulane give Ole Miss a run for their money with the whole Lane Kiffin saga. I think that would be quite entertaining to watch Tulane take that next step and make it to the quarterfinals. But I think right now, Indiana clearly looks like the best team in the country. We all watched that Big Ten championship game, and Kirk Signetti has done a great job in just
yeah.
a couple of years turning that program around. And I think they got a taste of it last year with their game against Notre Dame. Now they get a bye, and they get to rest. They get to watch how other games play out. I would not be surprised to see Indiana in the championship. I don't know that they win it, but I would not be surprised to see them in the championship.
Totally agree. Yep, they definitely look like the number one team right now. So, absolutely. Well, Alex, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a bit today and talking about the Game Above Sports Bowl. I keep thinking that's wrong every time I want to say the bowl game name.
Right.
So I like literally check. I'm like, nope. I have to like double check just because the name has switched several times, like we talked about. And but no, I do. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your expertise. Can you tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, again, Emily, thank you for having me on. This is always a blast to get to do stuff like this with other great content creators, and you've done a phenomenal job just in the period of time that you've been doing the Big Ten talk, and it's been fun to watch you kind of grow. But for the people listening at home, if you want to follow some more Maction, the unofficial voices
Yes.
of Maction, you can find us really anywhere on all the socials at the MSC Podcast, YouTube, TikTok. Don't post on TikTok a bunch because I'm in my 30s and I'm not some high school kid anymore. But Twitter X, you can find us at the MSC Podcast. Blue Sky, we're on there as well. Not as active there. Facebook as well if you're in the plus 40 crowd. So feel free to follow us over there. And then you can find us on the Varsity Podcast Network through Layerfield and their mobile app.
That is awesome. Thank you. I know I just started a TikTok and every time I click the app, I'm like, I feel like I'm too old to be here. What am
Yeah,
I doing?
absolutely.
But it's just, I don't know if that feeling ever goes away, but I'm like, what am I doing? So that really resonated with me, that comment. Absolutely. But yes, thank you so much, Alex. Looking forward to this game and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks, Emily. You too, and good luck for the rest of the previews that you do for bowl season. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing what else you put out.
Thanks, Alex.